So I see, Bob, you played halfback and quarterback in high school, and then you go to Minnesota. Did Minnesota recruit you at halfback or quarterback at all, or was it basically they wanted you on defense?
They Minnesota did. Well, the thing is, Minnesota did not recruit me. I got a. Let's go back a couple of years. I
Okay.
was in North Carolina. I wanted to go to North Carolina, but at that time they didn't allow blacks could not go to North Carolina. So I played in an All-Star game. I was a quarterback. I was a quarterback in high school. And so when I went to the All-Star game for the black school over in Greensboro, some of the coaches from the North Carolina and up north, Michigan and Notre Dame, they was over there watching, doing something else, and they came over to watch us play. And late Jim Taylor from North Carolina, the head coach there, saw me play. And when I went into the game to play, the guy already had three good quarterbacks from AAA school. And he said, well, you can play, they had me playing halfback. So when they finally put me in the middle of the first quarter, and I started running the ball, I think I scored at least 2 or 3 touchdowns. And I got most valuable player of the game. And he ended up calling Coach Warmer at Minnesota. Said, hey, there's a kid here who lives next to the mountain in Shelby. That's a hell of a football player. Said, you need to put him up there. He said, guys, I guarantee he'll make it. I didn't know this till after the fact, that he made a promise to coach, if they take me, I'd never been on a plane before, and they couldn't believe it because we didn't have no picture. They never saw me. And I found out years later that he told the coach if I couldn't make the team, he would pay for the scholarship, see. But I ended up playing at Minnesota as a freshman as quarterback. They moved me to offensive tackle and defensive end. So I ended up doing that at Minnesota. I went both ways.
What was the change like going from North Carolina to Minnesota? Both, obviously there was a climate change, but there was also a sociological change. You went to an all-black school in the segregated South up to Minneapolis.
It was. That's a culture change. It's a very culture change for me because I ended up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And back then, it was, probably 2% blacks in the whole state of Minnesota. So, I went from one culture from North Carolina to Minnesota where I was out, I walk around campus and didn't see anybody but Sandy Stevenson and Judge Dixon, Bill Muncie, and Bob McNeil, We had 5 black players on the team. That's the only place I had associated with blacks then at that time. And it was a big shock, But, the thing is, I went to Minnesota, and I wanted to play baseball. I was a better baseball player than I was a football player. And Minnesota at that time had a Big Ten champs and national champs in baseball. And I wanted to play baseball. And so when I ended up going up there, getting on the plane for the first time, and I asked the coach, he said, well, we don't know yet. I said, can I play baseball too? He said, oh, yeah. So I told my dad, and I said, Dad, I would love to go to Minnesota. Going to high school and the elementary school, the whole school was like 168 something in the whole school. And I'm going to a big university. At that time, I guess it was like 35,000 students, I'd never seen that many people at one place there. And I told my dad, listen, I would like to go here. And he said, hey, if that's what you want, go for it. And the thing is, I tell people this all the time, is my dad is the one that drove, he just kept saying, son, you can do it, you can do it. Back then, most of the people in Shelby would say, hey, they graduate from high school, they go to college for a couple of years, and come back and get a 40-hour job, get married, have a family. That was it. That was it. They were doing great, man. But I wanted to do something better. I want to go beyond that. you know, and my dad worked at a textile mill there in Shelby where they take cotton and turn it into yarn and turn it into cloth, and the next thing you know, they own a couple of mills, and my dad worked for them, and they lived in the country club. Out there at the country club, I used to cut their grass and take care of the house, and their kids would go off to the military school, a big school, and they come back, and they used to invite me in the house, and I go in there and look at the yearbooks, and I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. My dad never finished school, just barely went to 3 grades, and that was it. He worked. And I just always went back to him and said, "Dad, you should saw this book, man, this yearbook." And so I said, "You think it's ever that I will be able to do that someday?" And my dad always said it. "Yeah, you can do it, son. Go for it." You know. And, you know, people always talk to me about what's the biggest thing is going to Minnesota. Yes, that's one. You know, and they say, well, I went through all of it. You know, I was Big Ten, the Big Ten champs and national champs, Rose Bowl champs and stuff like that. I was in high school champs, basketball championships, And they said, well, what's the biggest thing that ever happened to you, Bobby? It was going into the Hall of Fame, the College Hall of Fame, being the Outland Trophy, been third in the Heisman. I was third in Heisman back in '60. I said, no. Oh, what about being Pro Football Hall of Fame? I said, that's at the top of the pyramid. He said, but the biggest thing for me, guys, is that, my dad he was a driver with me. He's always on my side because most people said, don't go to Minnesota, you get lost and stuff. And he told me, I'll go for it. And the biggest thing is that the first time I played varsity football at Minnesota, and they had Father's Day there, and my dad and mom came up to the school, and he got an opportunity to see his son play 65,000 in a national televised game. That was it was like my dad went to school there. And for him, that's one of the highlights of my life, playing. I had an opportunity to go to school, and he had an opportunity, my parents, to come up there and see me play like the other kids that went off. And the people from the mill, the guy, Dover that owned the mill, he had the opportunity to go to a big school like they did. And for him to walk up and down the street in Shelby, and it didn't stop there. And then he'd be walking. He always walked with his head up and back. He walked down the street and they called, Pink, saw your son on national TV, on Johnny Carson's show, Ed Sullivan's show. Man, the Big Ten champs, hey, man, he's awesome. He's awesome. And my dad walked down the street he was just like the king. And for them to say that, and for me to have that opportunity to have him to do that, to go to Minnesota, go to the Rose Bowl and see it, the biggest game in the country, that is the top of my pyramid. The other stuff, the wars, is great too, but to have the opportunity to see my parents come to Minnesota and see me play on Father's Day. Like not Father's Day, but on Father's Day. Well, Father's Day at Minnesota, it was just awesome, man. I still, my dad passed away, but I still could see him walking up there with that big coat, with the hat on, that old coat, and it's just unbelievable, man.
Now, how did you not end up at Grambling? Did Eddie Robinson not take note, or did you not have interest in going to, an historically black college?
Well, no. Shelby was a small town, man. I played 6-man football. We didn't have enough men to play 11-man. So, nobody, if I end up is going to A&T College, which is all in North Carolina, it's all black school, college there. John C. Smith is a junior college out of Charlotte. Morgan, all these was small, a small town, black school. And nobody really saw me play at high school until I really got to the All-Star game, and these coaches saw me play. Because, you got Shelby tucked in there next to the mountain, right in the mountain there. You played in a little bitty town. That was it. You didn't get exposed to like some of these other players did. And I never got, Grambling. I saw Grambling play Antietam one time in college, in North Carolina. But, I wasn't exposed to a lot of that stuff. So, and, I played basketball. I played football. We played basketball and football in high school. That's it. No baseball. We had a baseball boys club. And I had a chance to play with the White Sox on the farm team. They came through Charlotte, and saw us play over there in a field, and they wanted to sign me to a baseball contract, I said, no. My dad said, if you do that, you don't want to go. That's you want to go off to college. So nobody actually saw me. When I got really exposed is when late Jim Taylor from North Carolina saw me, and the coaches did, and called Coach Warmer. And Coach Warmer brought me to the campus, They hadn't seen me play at one down. They went on the word of death, and that's what happened,
Did you ever think to yourself, you know what, I wish I could have played more quarterback in college because I think I could have done some phenomenal things, or it was basically blacks were not considered smart enough to be quarterbacks?
No. Do you remember Sandy Stevenson? Sandy Stevenson.
Right.
I was going to say, who was the better quarterback? You or Sandy Stevens?
Sandy Stevens was a quarterback from Uniontown. He was the first black All-American quarterback.
Right.
He was on the same team. Sandy was, Bill Muncie, which is Chuck Muncie's brother, Judge Dixon was there, and we all was there. And they, that was it. Well, that's the whole thing is that the Coach Woman, God rest his soul, he passed away a few years ago. He brought me into his office in my sophomore year. At that time, the freshmen could not play varsity football, and he had me running the freshman year quarterback. And the next year, he brought me in the office and said, "Hey, listen, this is what I got to do." He said, "We've been losing, but I want 11 of my best players on the field at the same time." And he said, "I want you to be part of that." I said, "Hey, Coach, not a problem, because I played any position." And then he said, "I'm moving you to offensive tackle." And I laughed at him. I said, "Oh, come on, Coach, tackle." He said, "Yeah, I'm moving you to offensive tackle." I said, "Wait a minute." I laughed. I thought he was kidding, so I joked with him. Yeah, Coach. He said, no, that's what I'm going to do. He said, "Because I want my best players, all of them on the field at the same time. So now we can go both ways." And I said, "Wow." I stood up. I said, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah." And I turned around and looked at him, and I stood up and said, "Coach, I never played tackle, but I'm coachable." That's all I said to him. I said, "I'm coachable." I told him when I walked out, "If you got somebody to teach me how to play tackle, I'll play tackle." And that's what happened. I went out there, and I thought, I was so nervous when they came out for that spring ball at my sophomore year, and I didn't see my name. We had 13 teams suited up, And I walked out and I looked down. I figured he's got to be kidding. I might be an N. I looked down there, no N. My name's nowhere on all of them charts. Halfback, no way. The quarterback, that was out. We had 3 quarterbacks up there at 4. And I went down and I'm sitting there in the thing. I was nervous, as Coach Crawford, which was the line coach, came out and said, "What's wrong with you?" And my heart was beating out of my chest because I thought maybe they'd let me go, don't send me back home. I thought they was gone. He said, "What?" I said, "Coach, my name." He forgot to put my name. I said, "Is I'm on anybody's team?" He said, well, hell, Bill, look over there on the tackles. I went down the tackles, and I went all the way down to the 13th team. I was on the 13th team tackle. And I went out there, had no idea what I was doing. And for the first 3 or 4 days, I was getting beat like a tom-tom into it. And then I told the coach, Crawford, you got to stay out here. Tell me, show me, coach me, teach me how to play tackle, because I'm going to play. And at that time, my sophomore year was that it was all, junior and senior teams. The first 2 teams were juniors and seniors. They said it wouldn't be Sid Harper said it wouldn't be a sophomore make the team. Would not make the team. And I said, no, man, I'm going to make the teams. I ended up, when the first game we played, I was only sophomore. I started at offensive tackle and defensive end and never gave it up the whole time. And it was just... Just want to say, I could have been a quarterback or a running back. I didn't care what it was, but I wasn't going home, man. I'd have played any position. I told him, I played at probably every position out there. I even centered the ball. On field goals and extra point. I also did that in the pros, too. I centered the ball and extra point for Jan Stenerud, and Gerald Wilson. I snapped the ball for him. Because I just say, hey, I want to play, and the more you play, you're more involved in the game, and from us like blacks going to Minnesota, it was a moving thing for the blacks across the South, because everybody started watching us play at Minnesota, the Big Ten. We was on national TV all the time. We was just Rose Bowl 2 years in a row, national champs, Big Ten champs. We was on TV, and everybody trying to figure out this all black backfield. It was all black. How they win the national champs? They said they couldn't do it. Rose Bowls, Big Ten champs. They can't do it, and we had a powerhouse. We were beating everybody in there, And from that we start. The next year we kind of recruited Carl Eller from North Carolina, JD, Lou Hudson, sweet Lou Hudson basketball. I was the first black basketball player at the University of Minnesota. A lot of people didn't know that. I played basketball at Minnesota.
And you get drafted by the Vikings in the NFL, and you get drafted by and the Chiefs. Do you think you're going to end up a Viking?
Well, at that time, I said the Vikings drafted me, third round, They were saying that I was too small to play offensive tackle, defensive end, or whatever, They said I was too small to do that. Minnesota drafted me third, and Kansas City got me seventh. I went to Montreal drafted me too also. And everybody thought I was going to go to Minnesota because I played at the University, and Minnesota drafted me. But at that time, Minnesota didn't want, Van Brockman was the coach there, and I was telling him, hey, I'd like to play here, but I'm on a 3-year contract. You got to give me a chance. Not a 1 year, it was 3 year. And I wanted to guarantee it, because I didn't want to be jacked around. Mm-hmm. And they kept saying, yeah, we'll give you 3 years. They want to give me 1 year, 2 year, 3 year contract, but they didn't want to guarantee, Lamar Hunt came up. I never talked to not one of the coaches from Kansas City. Lamar came to Minnesota and visited with me. Took him out and got some ice cream. He wanted to know where to get some good ice cream. Took him down to University Avenue to the ice cream place. He told me, he said, hey, I'd like for you to be part of my organization. I started the new league 2 years ago. He said, I want you to be part of it. And that was the thing. He said, what's it going to take? And we went back and forth, So I don't know. He just kept on just telling me. So I ended up signing. I ended up signing with Kansas City at the time. Well, it was about my contract read Dallas, Texas. That was the year they moved, '63, you know. And I told him, I said, hey, without even going down there, I even talking to the coach, and when we came to terms on it was a long-term contract, signed the contract. I jumped after. I mean, I didn't sign it because he didn't have it at the time, but we agreed. He shook my hand, and the next morning I went flying to New York to be on Johnny Carson and Ed Sullivan's show for the All-American thing, and shook his hand. He rode with me to New York. Lamar did. And that's how it started with Lamar, you know. Everybody thought I was going to the Vikings, you know. I'm kind of glad I did with the Chiefs, you know. Because I think people ask me this all the time about, hey, listen, what do you think? If you were to change, would you change anything, you know, going from Shelby to Cleveland High School, six-man football? I wouldn't change anything. I mean, that ride from Shelby to Greensboro to Minneapolis, I wouldn't change anything there. I mean, how many guys can say they won the state championship in football and basketball in high school? How many can say they won the championship in the national championship, Big Ten champs? How many can say that they won we beat College All-Stars, beat the Green Bay in '63. The College All-Stars beat the Green Bay Packers in '63. I was on that team.
And I know Vince Lombardi wasn't happy about that.
Oh, he was not happy, man. And you know, and how many can say they won this? What's the next? A Super Bowl. I bet you ain't that many guys out there could have won all those things. You know, they went from high school, college, you know, the pros in that order. And you know, that was one. Hey, and when I got out of college, you know, I went to the All-Star game. I went up there as a defensive end, offensive tackle, you know, to the All-Star. Otto Graham was a coach. You remember Otto Graham? He was a coach at the All-Star. And I don't know, for some reason, he called back up there at Minnesota and told Sid Hartman, called Coach Stram also and told him, you know, hey, man, this Bobby Bell is not a tackler. I weighed about 215, 218, soaking wet. He said, this guy can't play, you know. He made me leave the offense and our defensive end. He told me to go down there with the linebackers. He told me to go down there. He said, you can't play up here, man. Go down there. So now I changed again. I changed position like toilet paper. I went down to the linebacker crew. Guess who was the linebacker crew?
Who was on that group?
Leroy Jordan.
Wow.
Dave Robertson. and Kathy. Kathy was the other linebacker. So I go down there. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Went down there to play linebacker. And I ended up starting as a linebacker. First time.
Otto knew what he was doing.
Huh?
Otto knew what he was doing.
Oh, man. I don't know what. I must have pissed him off or something. But he took me down there. He sent me down there. I had no idea. I sit there and watch these guys and learn what to do, you know. That's how I learned. Hey, got in the game, you know. I almost got most valuable player. Who was it? Vanderkill got most valuable player of the game. But the thing about the whole situation about that, though, is that Otto Brown was, I don't know what I did, you know, really, you know, tee him off or piss him off or something. He swore him down that, you know, one of the things that bothered me, though, was that I got a no-cut contract with the Chiefs, you know, with the Dallas, Texas. And back then, a lot of them coaches didn't like that. They don't give out no cuts, you know. That's what Van Brocken wouldn't do. See, you don't do that, you know. They don't do that stuff.
You know why Otto didn't like you? Because he went to Northwestern, and you guys were beating Northwestern in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, we beat them like tom-toms, man, all the time. When I was there. But the thing else is, Otto, after that, and even after I, ended up playing left linebacker, and Leroy played the middle, and Dave Robinson played the right. We all kind of changed positions, but we ended up playing linebacker. And in the game, right before the game, right before the game started, they're going to introduce, and they're going to introduce the Green Bay offense. They said, we're going to introduce y'all defense. And as we lined up on the sideline, so the coach comes up to me and said, hey, Catherick's going to be introduced instead of you. I said, I thought I was on the starting defensive linebacker. He said, well, yeah, but Otto said you want Catherick to be introduced. I said, okay. He introduced it. So he introduced him, and he goes out there and played three plays, and the coach said, man, you got to get in there. So I played the rest of the game. But, it's just strange that the way things happen. Otto, for a long time, wouldn't say much to me until he came. I was playing with the Chiefs, playing against the Jets, and Otto was coaching the military. Was that up north, upstate there? The university. Otto was. He was the head coach. Anyway, we were playing the Jets, and I played the game. And after the game, I looked up. I saw Otto walk into the locker room. He walked in the locker room. He walked straight over to the locker, and he just walked straight into it and said, hey, Val, he said, I want to apologize to you about some things, but I just want to let you know that you're a hell of a player, football player. And I said, oh, thank you. And he turned around and walked away. And that was it. Wow. That was it. Yeah. And from that point on, every time I saw him at a function or something like that, he would acknowledge. He'd be the first one to come up to me. Hey, Bell, come here. I want to introduce you to somebody, But that was my trail, my learning process from high school, learning how to adjust, learning how to change with the different organizations. Hey, man, it was a learning for me. I learned a lot, by playing quarterback. I learned how to play defense, read. I talk to Willie Lanier. In fact, he's in town today. I talk to him we talk all the time, And when we was in the game and stuff, how we used to talk about, we was like coaches on the field. I mean, when we played defense, hey, man, we didn't change. We didn't have a platoon. We had 11 guys out there. They come out there with a formation, We'd check off, and we had to play. That's why I played defensive end. I moved back and played linebacker. I could play out, cornerback. I could play safety. It didn't make no difference. And we just used the personnel that we had on the field. We had to learn how to adjust to it.
Because Willie was like the quarterback of the defense, being the middle linebacker, and he was the first black middle linebacker, right?
Hey, he was the first middle linebacker. We had a lot of firsts, man. Hey, man, we played. I mean, it was just awesome. Yeah, he was the first middle linebacker, black linebacker. They said they couldn't do that. That's why a lot of the guys that played college ball, black quarterbacks and stuff. Well, in Minnesota, we recruited Tony Donye. Tony Donye came to Minnesota. We had, Jimmy Ray came to Michigan. And a lot of these guys came to the Big Ten school because he saw us play back in the 60s. All these black guys at Minnesota, they started to it. Jesse Jackson went to Illinois. And he went up there. He wanted to play up there. And they didn't treat him like they was treating us at Minnesota. So he left, But, we had a lot of blacks there. We got a lot of players that come out of the South to come up north to the big school and start playing. That's when they start branching out all over the country.
Because Bobby Mitchell was in Illinois. He couldn't even see the field.
That's right. Yeah.
So you get to Kansas City training camp.
Bobby Mitchell. Huh?
So you get to training camp with the Chiefs under Hank Stram. What was playing for Hank Stram like?
Hey, that was awesome, man. You know, Coach Stram was a great coach, man. He was, as they say, he was before his time, you know, because they said that everything that he was doing, he had offense, you know. We had a defense. I mean, he had big players, small players, wide players, you know, quick players. He wanted to win. He didn't do it. He's a coach that didn't care whether you're blue, black, green, orange, white, any color. If you can play, he just want to know, can you play football? He didn't care what. And that's what he was. I mean, he cared about you as a man, you know. Coach, he looked at you like a man. We respected him, and up until the day he passed away, you know, I talked to him. He would call us up. I called me up. I would go down and visit him at his place, you know, and I'd be in the swimming pool swimming. He called me. The first thing he asked is, "How you doing? How your family's doing?" That was a coach, you know. And you know, we came out with the spread offense, you know. And everybody thought, you can't run that stuff, you know. You can't do that. We came out with the triple stack, we called it, the triple stack, you know, the 3 linemen and the 4 linebackers, you know. They said, you can't do that stuff. Everybody wants to run the 4-3. You know, the spread offense, they called it, they had to name it, to give it a different name. They called it the West Coast. We was running all that stuff back then. You know, when we came out, and back in the first Super Bowl, you know, Coach said, hey, we can beat these guys. You know, the only reason we lost that first game is we turned the ball over to Green Bay in that Super Bowl. It was a championship game. But, you know, we turned that ball over twice, John. That's 14 points. That was the game right there. You can't do that to a veteran team like Green Bay was. But we just wanted another opportunity to come back in and play that Super Bowl. And we know we had a great team. That's when we played against the Minnesota Vikings, and we was underdog, 17 points, you know, and we felt like, hey, there's no way. Coach said, hey, they ain't that. They not that. They're good. He said, but we could beat them. We got a better team. And we was a wild card that year because we came back to New York and beat the Jets. The Jets thought they was going to go back to the Super Bowl back-to-back. And Oakland beat us twice that year. Oakland beat us twice. And Stram said, we beat the Jets. We got to go back and play Oakland for the third time. There's no way they're going to beat us the third time. We had a too good a team. And that was the thing. Coach, he always came up with something new, you know. He always keep that line. I mean, keep everybody fresh and strong. We came out with we were the first team, I think, with Gatorade. We are the first team that we had a weight coach. They had a Roy, came from Dallas. He was in Dallas, and they said, no, we don't need no weight coach. And Coach Stram brought him up to Kansas City, had everybody lifting weights and stuff, you know, stretching, lifting weights. We had quick guys. We had strong people, you know, and that's why we ended up playing Minnesota. We basically crossed the line to manhandle the guys up there. I mean, we had running backs, were bench pressing 250, 240, 260. So, you know, he was out, and Coach Stram was just out in front of everybody. Anything new or something like that, he had it. He wanted to, you know, experiment this, you know. He wanted quick guys. We had a we had a racquetball court inside the stadium. You know, and he said, I want you guys to learn how to play this game. I already knew how to play racquetball from Minnesota, but he had linemen in there because of what? You move it quick steps. We had us playing tournaments and stuff like that. You know, he came up with that, you know, stretches, all kinds of different things like that. If it was out there, he wanted to know about it.
I thought you lost Super Bowl I because Fred the Hammer Williamson couldn't cover Max McGee.
No, he wouldn't make it. we covered him. He caught a couple passes, but the hammer, we called it an attack. Fred was the left cornerback. I was the left linebacker. And I told Fred, I said, Fred, why are you running your mouth? You just talking. I want to do this and do that. Freddie knew that I was a linebacker. If anything came out that way, he knew I was going to take it out. He'd come up and jump on the pile or something. And that one time he came out, I cleaned out everything, but Donnie Anderson hit him in the head with his leg and knocked him out. So I went over to Freddie. I said, Freddie, hey, man, get up. He said, man, leave me alone.
He was probably the only person in his life that shut up the hammer.
I know. Oh, my God, man. He said, leave me alone. He went and took him over to the sideline. I said, hey, Freddie, what's up, man? I know Freddie. I see him all the time. I talk to him, Yeah, he got, Donnie hit him upside the head. He tells everybody he broke his leg or something, what he did. But that was a problem. And we lost that game, like I said, the 2 turnover. I think Woods intercepted the ball, one of the Lennox or someone almost something, and they got the 2 turnovers and they got 14 points. And that was the game. Because we going into halftime, we was kind of head, and we turned it over. But we went in the 4th Super Bowl. There's no way we were going to lose that. There's no way. We were just going to shut them down because we felt we had the best defense, and we felt that they could not keep up with Mike Garrett and Wendell Hayes, Frank Pitts, Otis Taylor. We had these guys were so quick and fast, man. They were like horses, man, run like thoroughbreds all over. And they'll start off getting deep, we hit with the short stuff. If they want an offense or they want to pinch on the quarterback, we'll do the in around reverse on them. Just keep them off balance all the time. That's what the coach liked, So, Coach Stram was a great coach, and a lot of his stuff, and I tell you what, he should have went into the Hall of Fame a long time before he did, because everybody thought that he made fun of the team by calling the plays on the sideline. They had the NFL film, brought all them cameras down there, and Bud Grant said he wasn't going to put the stuff on. And they went over to the coach and said, can we mic you up? We want to tape everything. We got cameras here, we're going to use them. And Coach Stram did it, He didn't tell nobody. But, you sit there and call the plays off the sideline, send them in with, the classic Garnett on, 65 power sweep. That's in there, Anybody, it was like a strip, He called the play and it worked. Everything we do, it just worked,
Yeah.
But as a coach and a man himself, man, he cared about his players. And I tell you what, he kept, after he even left the Chiefs, went to New Orleans, he kept in contact with all of his players in Kansas City. And I talked to his son. I talked to his wife, Phyllis. And Stu is here in town. Dale is down in New Orleans. I talk to him maybe once or twice a month, all the time. And that's the way the coach was. He would call and say, hey, if he found out some other player had a problem somewhere, if it's in Kansas City, and he gets the message, he'll call me or somebody in town here, or Ed Buddy, or somebody said, hey, guys, you need to check on so-and-so. I heard this so-and-so. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That's the way it was. I mean, until he passed away. He was always like that. I mean, he was a coach. You could go into his office and sit down. If you got a problem, something, you go in and sit down with him. If something comes up, he'll call you in the office, Hey, he'll point blank ask you, hey, man, this is so-and-so. What's the deal here? Let's straighten this out, That's the way he was. He was just a hands-on coach. Hands-on coach,
Who was the best running back you ever went up against?
I don't know, man. The guy that gave me a lot of was the hardest guy to hit was Larry Zonko. You ever heard of him?
Yeah, Hall of Famer.
Oh my gosh, my hands were full, man. I mean, oh my goodness.
A lot of
It's like,
the former players said the best player they ever saw play was Jim Brown, though.
I didn't get to play against Jim Brown, you know. Jim was a great player, you know, back in his time, you know. They got Marcus Allen was a great player too, man. And Zonka was a sort of head beater, you know. You know, I used to get who else did? Leroy Jordan, not Leroy Kelly, you know. I used to get on him a lot, you know. But they had some great running backs around. And, but you just pick out one, you know, Larry Zonka, you know. Playing linebacker, you know, John Mackey and Jackie Smith, tight ends. I played over the top of them. These guys, bring your lunch, man. Bring your lunch. You got your hands full all day.
Is there a better linebacking crew than you, Willie Lanier, and Emmett Thomas?
Jim Lynch?
And Jim Lynch?
Jim Lynch. Nah, I don't know. I'm kind of prejudiced, you know. I think we've had the best linebacker, you know. If I had a choice of picking people, I wouldn't change it. I would pick Lanier and Jim Lynch in a heartbeat, yeah. If I picked a linebacker, that's who I would pick, man. Unbelievable. I love it. You know, I love it. We got to the point as we knew each other. We know the capabilities of Willie, and Willie knew the capability of me, Jim Lynch. We knew. We knew what we could do and couldn't do, you know. And we compensate each other. That's what you do. You compensate. Same way with the offense. The defense, the cornerback, and Jimmy Marcells, Emmett Thomas, you know, Jim Marshall. Hey man, these guys, Johnny Robinson, you know, it's like having 5 or 6 coaches on the field. We come up to the line, look at that, man. You don't have to worry. You don't have to call timeout. We'll check out. Say, hey man, who's this on? Let's get it. Check out, man. We talk to each other, you know. Nowadays, these players don't even talk to each other, you know. They don't even talk to each other. I see guys calling timeouts. I don't know what I'm doing out here. Same way with offense, you know. Quarterback check off, you know, this is not my play. I don't know what route, you know. That means they don't learn. They don't learn the system. They don't learn the whole process. You don't do the test. You don't do the test for half of the first quarter and second quarter. You do the test for the whole game. You know what everybody. I want to know what everybody's doing. You know, when I do the tests, I put in all the the defense, what position they are on every play that comes up. You know, they give me the test. I fill in everybody's job assignments because I want them to know that, and that's the way we did that. You know, because I know I got help here. I don't have no help here. I know that Willie's going out on the other end at the hooks position. I know I don't have no help. If the end release inside, if I let him go in and I'm going out to the flat, I'm going to hit him and give him up to Lanier. Lanier knows he's going to pick him up. He's not coming off clean, but I'm going this way. I got help. You got to know that. You know, you got to play the guy tough from the outside or the inside because you don't have no inside help. So I don't want him to get inside of me because he can get free. So, you know, you got to play them games. You got to be smart in the game. So, you know, that's what we had on our team. You know, the coach, you know, you go in there, you study the movies, you study the film, you do all that stuff. Some of these players don't even have no idea. They got everything is computerized, you know, boom, 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 boom. What do you do in a position like this? Oh, no, let me call the coach. They got these helmets wired up, man. Coach said, yeah, man, you got to run left, right, left. I don't know what they're doing. But we call the play out on the field. You got to learn how to make the adjustment, you know. You know how they do? You be fighting a war over in the jungle somewhere. You're out in the middle of this thing. They trained you, got you ready for it, and they drop you over there. And when some situation come up you don't see, you got to make an adjustment, right?
Exactly.
You can't call time out and call the lieutenant or colonel back there and say, "Hey, this we didn't have on our test."
Is there one tackle that stands out in your memory?
One tackle
that you made?
Mm.
People point to you stopping Matt Snell in the '69 AFL divisional game of the Jets.
I don't know, the Jets. You mean that play? Yeah, I got the game ball there for the Jets. I don't know. At one time, they got Snell coming in there, and Joe takes it in there and pulls it out. He said, "Oh man, Bell, he's going to go for this fake. He's going for it. He's going for it." He came out of there, and I said, "Nope, here I am, Joe." Stopped him right there on like the 7-8 line. He's just he cussed me out. "God damn it, Bell!" He said, "There's no way. How do you what?" He just pulled the ball out. He didn't give it to him. He was going to drop it. I said, "No." We stopped him. We beat him. That was a big play right there. Lanier was talking and saying, "Hey, man, we can't let them score. We can't let them score. They can't score. They score."
A lot of people say Namath. A lot of people say Namath was the most overrated quarterback in the Hall of Fame.
Are you kidding me?
A lot of people say that he didn't have Hall of Fame numbers. It was all he got in based upon his basically prediction of winning the Super Bowl, and he had average stats.
Well, I tell you what, he's a hell of a quarterback, as far as I'm concerned. Here's a guy, I played against him, I played against him, and I seen him. He came to Kansas City one time, and this stands out in my mind. He threw the ball 3 times, same way. We didn't step the ball twice on it. Same play. And the 3rd time, touchdown. He goes like, "God darn it, I knew that thing would work." I mean, he sat there and picked them out, He calls the plays up there. He picks them out. Oh, man, hey, I don't know what people's thinking about what they're seeing, But, here's a guy saying that, "Hey, man," let's go back one step and say, hey, that's one of the things about quarterback. Peyton Manning right now. I mean, he reminds me. That's how I kind of like Joe Namath did, He come up the line and eat you alive, man. Eat you alive. Peyton Manning comes up there and look at and study the things. "Oh, this is going to work here." He tells everybody. That's the guy that, I would love to play with Peyton Manning, play with Joe Namath, Johnny Unitas, I mean, look at Johnny Unitas. I played against Johnny Unitas, man. I thought he was a great, I sacked Johnny Unitas, let me knock on wood. I sacked him. I think I made the first sack on Monday Night Football against Johnny Unitas. But Joe Namath, he's great. I thought he was one of the greatest quarterbacks. I wouldn't want to go get. Huh?
Did you have a favorite quarterback to go up against? You had 26 interceptions in your career, and 40 sacks. Did you say, "Okay, today's going to be a good day"? I like my chances of either sacking the guy or making an interception today.
No, what I do? I approach the game in a way that I do my homework, and I like at the time. It depends on who I'm playing against, I know some of the things that he likes to do and stuff like that, Not just to pick out one guy, But if I play my game the way I'm supposed to, I'm gonna end up. Here's my thing to Coach Stram. Every time we negotiated a new contract, I always end up playing maybe 2 years on the contract, and they extend it, And I always walked into his office and, "Coach, the reason I want you to pay me is because I'm going to give you the ball 2.5 times a game, a turnover. You hear what I mean? I'm going to give you the ball. I'm going to either intercept you, make a fumble, create a fumble, or 2 interceptions a game. I'm going to turn the ball over to you. That's my goal, is to give it to you 2.5 times a game. Some games I might get 3. One game I might give it, but I'm going to average 2.5 times. And I said to the coach, Coach, you need to get you another player to do that. And I said, if you get it that, you get a turnover, make a turnover 4 times a game, can you win the game? And I walk out of his office. That's what I do. I'm gonna make something happen every game. I don't care whether we're playing against a rookie, a veteran, or whatever. I said, that's me. My goal is to make 2.5 to 3 turnovers. I'm going to intercept the ball, create a fumble, or something, score a touchdown. I'm going to do it.
What was your thoughts when you found out you got into the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Going back then, at that time, I didn't even know I was up for it. Back in 83, Pete Elliott, I played against him in college, when he was at Michigan, and he was the president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I didn't even know it. In fact, I didn't even go to the Super Bowl that year. That was the one year I missed going to the Super Bowl. And Pete Elliott is the one that called me. They voted on it. The way they do it now, everybody would know for almost a year who's eligible for going into the Hall of Fame. Back then, you didn't know anything. They walked into a room and decided, they go in this, this is who, this, and then you wouldn't even know until Saturday, who probably was eligible for it. And then they pick it. So I didn't have no idea until I got a message from Pete. My son was playing my Bobby Jr. was playing at Missouri, and I did something, and I called him up in Missouri on Sunday, and I said, because he played it, I called him up and said, Bobby, I said, are you sitting down? I said, I just got a call from Pete Elliott on the phone and said, hey, I'm being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And his roommate, Willard Davidson, Willard Davidson, that played for the Packers.
Right.
His son and Bobby Jr. was roommate in college in Missouri. And Willard went in like the year before me, before 83. I think he went in 82. And here we are. I'm going in this year, and they both, Bobby Jr. and Willard Jr., they're roommates at Missouri, playing at Missouri. So that's how I found out. I went, oh my gosh. Pete wouldn't let nobody else call me. Pete Elliott was, because he was a friend, I played against him. He said, I want to call Bobby myself. He called me and told me.
And you were the only defensive player to go in that year. The rest of the guys were all offensive players.
Yeah. I talked to Paul Warfield every day, 2 days ago. I've seen him in Beverly, I talked to him. We went out to lunch at the Super Bowl, dinner for Super Bowl. Bobby Mitchell, all of us every one of us were great friends, became close friends, man. Sonny Jurgensen, we lost one guy, and this year is our 30 years. I've been in the Hall of Fame 30 years. This year, during the 50-year reunion, we all going back there except Sid Gilman. He passed away. Yeah. So, hey, we had the group was awesome, man.
You guys are a tight-knit family, you Hall of Famers. You all stick together.
Oh man, it's awesome, man. The thing about it, I got to know. I went in 30 years ago, and I got an opportunity to meet a lot of the guys that I read about in books, now I get to meet them personally. You know, Marion Motley, me and Marion Motley became great friends. John Henry Johnson, Joe Perry. We did so much of the family, you know. We got to know each other, the grandkids. I mean, it's unbelievable, man. It's a fraternity that, you know, hey, like I said to a lot of people, it's a fraternity that we joined. Hey, guys, we're all here together. We played against each other. We have a lot of fun now. Now we on the same team. We're on a team now that they can't trade you. They can't cut you. You know? We all is the same. It's not one better or one less. We're all the same. And that's how we try to treat that, you know. We're all Hall of Famers.